Hey Heartland family, Pastor Ethan here with another Walk the Path video from Sunday's message. This week we had Professor Tom Bond giving us a talk through Acts chapter 4 verses 32 through 37, where the believers had all things in common. They shared and they sold lands and gave it to the church to be distributed, and no one had any need, right? Because everyone provided for one another within the church. We had a great discussion on generosity and giving, and I think that there was a comment made by Jesse during the service, and he had said that there was a mentality in the early church that nothing was truly mine. That when we give gifts, we often have this attachment, this was mine and now it's yours. But it seemed like in the early church, their mentality was everything I have is everybody's, right? And I'm to share it with all. It reminds me of what Paul writes when he says that he's a bond slave or a bond servant to Christ, a bond servant to somebody who owns nothing. Nothing is truly theirs. And I wonder if that wouldn't be a great mentality for us to shift into, and to remember that Christ gave us everything. He gave up everything and that he had in heaven to come down and die on a cross for us so that we could know the Father. And so I think if we're going to be like Christ, one of the markers of Christ is his willingness to give everything. And are we willing to give everything, or are we stingy, as Tom was talking about? Are we stingy, or do we have a generous worldview? And God will honor the generous worldview, but he won't honor the stingy one. And Jesus has this little story in Matthew, right, where he says, if your eye is good, then your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be filled with darkness. On the top and bottom of Jesus saying that, he's talking about money on both sides. And so he's talking about money, and in the Greek it indicates if your eye is generous, your whole body will be filled with light. But if your eye is stingy or bad or evil, your whole body will be filled with darkness. And so maybe there has to be an outlook of more generosity. If there's a need, how can I help? How can I fill it? Whether that be financially or time, or we talked about that too. Are we a generous people? And I think we're becoming more and more generous, and it's beautiful to see. But I think it's a great way for us to walk the path, is to consider and then take action to become more generous in different ways in our lives. With that said, we love you guys. We'll see you this next week as we discuss Acts chapter 5, Ananias and Sapphira. It's going to be very exciting. Can't wait to see you there.